Before you reach for your wallet tomorrow morning, stop for a moment and ask yourself one honest question. What if your relationship with money has been off from the very first minutes of the day? Not because you are weak, not because luck forgot your address, but because no one ever showed you how to meet money with calm, respect, and clear intention. There is an old practice built around salt, water, light, and the first quiet breath after waking. Most people hear that and smile like it is nothing. Then they spend the whole day tense. They wonder why every paycheck vanishes, why peace never stays, why pressure returns before the next sunrise. This is not about tricks. It is not about pretending that a ritual can replace work or wisdom. It is about pattern. It is about training. It is about teaching your mind and your habits to stop treating money like a threat and start treating it like something that must be guided with care. Stay with me here, because what comes next matters more than it seems. In the next few minutes, I will walk you through a simple morning practice, the meaning inside each step, and the exact way to do it so it feels real, steady, and unforgettable. And do not skip ahead. One small detail changes the entire mood of the ritual. For years I studied old spiritual ideas about work, provision, gratitude, discipline, and the hidden link between inner order and outer results. I learned something that stayed with me. Money is never only paper, never only numbers, never only coins. Money carries emotion. It holds fear when it is chased in panic. It holds calm strength when it is met with clarity. That lesson did not change me in one loud moment. It changed me slowly, quietly, through repetition, through ordinary mornings, through seeing how tiny acts shape huge outcomes. What I am sharing with you is not meant to replace effort, planning, common sense, or wise choices. It is meant to sharpen them. It turns your first contact with money into a message to your own mind that lack will not lead this day, a message to your habits that waste will not lead this day, a message to your spirit that you are ready to receive, ready to act, and ready to protect what enters your life. Listen closely now, because this is where many people miss the point. The strength is not in doing something strange. The strength is in doing something intentional, again and again, until your whole relationship with money moves from fear into steadiness. I first learned this when I was young, only days after a season of fasting, prayer, and deep reflection. I was brought into a quiet room with old books, soft shadows, and that heavy stillness you only feel in places where wisdom has been carried for a very long time. The person teaching me looked at me for a long moment, then said something so simple I did not understand it fully until years later. We do not live well by chasing money like frightened people. We learn to become people who can hold it, direct it, and use it well. At first I thought it sounded beautiful, maybe even poetic, but not practical. I thought money was basic. You earn it, you spend it. If you are lucky, you save some. End of story. But then I was shown teaching after teaching that treated livelihood as something deeper, something shaped by discipline, blessing, attention, and the state of the heart. These were not soft ideas from comfortable times. They had survived exile, loss, war, poverty, rebuilding, and grief. They had been tested in real life, and I was told two things. Practice this when you can, and when the time comes, pass it on clearly, not carelessly. So I am asking you now, stay focused. What sounds small at first can become very big once it enters your routine. The first time I used this method with full attention, I was 23 and completely broke. Not a little broke, truly broke. The kind of broke where every small expense feels like an alarm. The kind where a tiny problem can ruin your whole week. I had already tried all the usual advice. I sent applications. I chased work. I pushed myself into projects that led nowhere. I asked for help and hated how it felt. Nothing opened. Everything felt locked. Then one morning I remembered the teaching exactly as it had been given to me. I got the salt. I prepared the water. I woke before sunrise. I followed every step without rushing, without changing it to fit my mood, without making it more dramatic than it was. And within 2 days something moved. An old payment I had forgotten about suddenly showed up. A few days after that, someone I barely knew reached out with an offer connected to my skills. Was that magic? Maybe not in the way people throw that word around, but it felt like a door had opened, and I was finally able to see it, because my fear was softer, and my attention was sharper. That is the part so many people miss. Sometimes a ritual changes what comes toward you. Sometimes it changes what you notice, what you answer, what you are finally willing to accept. Either way, movement begins. And once movement begins, life can change quickly, very quickly. So if you are still with me, stay locked in, because now we move into the center of it. I know what money pressure feels like inside the body. It is heavy before breakfast. It is loud inside a silent room. It follows you to work, sits with you at dinner, and lies beside you when you are trying to sleep. You keep thinking maybe one more push will fix it, one more shift, one more side job, one more careful month. Maybe then you will breathe. And yes, effort matters, skill matters, decisions matter. But many people work hard while carrying chaos inside them, and that chaos leaks into everything they do. They touch money with guilt, with shame, with resentment, with panic, with a secret belief that it never stays. Then they wonder why every gain slips through their hands. Old teachings say livelihood begins deeper than what the eyes can see. Modern language might call it mindset, nervous system patterning, emotional conditioning, attention, or habit loops. Call it whatever you want. The truth remains the same. If your inner world is trained for loss, your outer life often follows that training. If your first thoughts about money are fear and scarcity, your choices become tight, rushed, and scattered. This practice interrupts that cycle. It uses physical action to create a mental and spiritual reset. Salt for cleansing and preserving, water for flow, sunrise for renewal, hands for action, wallet for contact, words for direction, repetition for strength. And do not miss that last part, because repetition is where weak hope becomes disciplined belief. Disciplined belief changes behavior. Changed behavior creates results. Now let me give you the method in a simple, clean way. Do not make it complicated. Do not try to improve it the first time. Tonight, place about 1 teaspoon of coarse sea salt into a small glass or ceramic bowl. If possible, avoid regular table salt. Sea salt is better for this because it feels raw, natural, less processed, more connected to the earth. As you place it in the bowl, pause for 1 second and say quietly, or aloud if you want, that this salt stands for cleansing, protection, and the removal of lack. Nothing fancy, just sincere. Then leave the bowl in a safe place overnight. When morning comes, do this before food, before scrolling, before noise enters your mind. Water is fine, but keep the moment clean. Keep it quiet. Keep it yours. This matters. The first energy of the day shapes everything that follows. Most people hand that first energy to stress without even knowing it. You are going to stop doing that. You are going to take it back. And once you take it back, something inside you becomes steady in a way that can be felt for the rest of the day. When you wake, wash your hands 3 times, alternating left and right, and then dry them fully. If possible, stand near a window or face the direction where morning light is rising. Breathe slowly. Let your shoulders drop. Let your chest soften. Let yesterday begin to leave your body. This is more important than people think. If you are rushing, angry, bitter, distracted, or already mentally fighting the day, pause until you settle. A ritual done inside chaos often feeds more chaos. A ritual done with focus becomes a container. Once you feel a little more still, take the bowl in both hands and hold it near your heart. This is the moment the day starts to shift. With the bowl in your hands, think clearly about what you are asking for. Not a wild fantasy, not a desperate blur. Be direct. Maybe you want stable income. Maybe you want relief from constant money stress. Maybe you want wisdom to manage what you already receive. Maybe you want courage to say yes when the right opportunity appears. Hold that intention without forcing it. Then slowly pour in about half a cup of clean water, ideally filtered or spring water if you have it, though simple clean water is enough. Pour carefully. As the water meets the salt, say words like these in simple English. As this water and salt come together, let peace and abundance come together in my life. As this mixture cleanses, let fear and lack leave me. As the light rises, let my chances rise too. You do not need grand language, you need honesty. Then stir the mixture clockwise 7 times with your right index finger, slowly, not like you are rushing to finish, like you are sealing a promise. While you stir, picture your bills getting paid on time. Picture yourself opening messages without dread. Picture money arriving through honest work, wise action, and doors you are now ready to walk through. Picture yourself calm with money, not obsessed with it, not ruled by it. Calm. That image matters more than most people realize. This is not only about receiving more, it is about becoming someone who can keep, guide, and multiply what comes. Stay with that moment for a little longer. Do not rush past it. This is where intention becomes action. Next, place both hands into the salt water and leave them there for at least 30 seconds. Feel the coolness, feel the stillness, feel the weight of what you are doing. Think about what your hands do every single day. They work, they build, they sign, they carry, they give, they receive, they repair, they spend, they hold. Then lift your hands out, but do not dry them all the way. Let a little moisture remain. Take your wallet, or the object that most directly represents the money you handle each day, and hold it gently between your palms. If most of your life is digital, still use a physical wallet and place at least one bill inside. Physical contact matters here. While holding it, say something like this. This is a vessel for steady provision. This carries honest money, wise money, protected money. I welcome income. I keep what is useful. I release waste. I act with clarity. Say it quietly. Say it with calm conviction. No drama, no performance. Then place the wallet where the first morning light can touch it. A windowsill is enough. Direct sunrise is wonderful, if you can get it, but soft early light also works. Leave it there for about 10 minutes. While the light touches it, take the remaining water and pour it into the earth if possible, or down a drain with gratitude. And yes, gratitude matters. Not fake gratitude, not forced smiles. Real gratitude for breath, for another morning, for the chance to begin differently, for the ability to change even if your life has felt stuck for a long time. Then continue with your day, but continue differently. This is where many people break the flow. They do the ritual, then jump straight back into panic. Do not do that. Guard the tone of your next few hours. Keep your speech clean. Avoid saying things like, I am doomed, I am always broke, nothing ever works for me. Those words pull against what you just set in motion. Your mouth can bless your direction, or weaken it. Choose carefully. Instead, watch what happens. In the first day, the shift may be subtle. You may feel a little lighter, a little less dread when checking your bank account, a little more courage when answering an email or replying to a message about work. In the next few days, stay alert to simple openings. A delayed payment might appear, a forgotten refund may come back, a person may mention an opportunity, a conversation you almost ignored may suddenly matter. Here is the key, and please do not miss it. Do not sit back and wait for the sky to split open. Meet the ritual halfway, answer the phone, check the message, follow up, send the email. Reopen the idea you buried because fear talked you out of it. Some people call these things coincidence. Maybe they are, but whole lives can change through a chain of well-timed coincidences, especially when the mind is finally trained to notice them. That is why this practice works best when it is not treated like superstition, but like a reset that sharpens awareness and steadies action. There are also warnings, and they matter. Do not do this while feeding jealousy, hatred, revenge, or the wish to see someone else lose. A heart full of poison makes every prayer heavy. If you are angry, admit it. If you are bitter, breathe through it. If someone hurt you, do not pretend nothing happened. But do not carry that fire into this practice. Clear what you can before you begin. Also, do not run to people who mock everything meaningful. Do not perform something sacred to you and then hand it over to people who only want to laugh. Protect the quiet of the practice for a few days. Let it settle in you. Let it take root. And here is another point you should take seriously. Do not treat this like a one-time stunt. The old rhythm was consistency. Once a week is good. The same morning each week is even better. And if you do it steadily for 40 days, something inside you can truly begin to shift, because repetition teaches the body and mind that you are serious. But add practical action to it. This part is essential. Cut one useless expense, track one leak, save one small amount, finish one overdue task, apply for one real opportunity, ask for one fair rate. Respect the money you already have, even if it feels too small to matter, because the person who treats small amounts carelessly often mishandles bigger amounts too. That is a hard truth, but it is still the truth. Ritual without action becomes fantasy. Action without inner change becomes exhaustion. Together they become strength. There is something deeper going on here, and it takes time to fully understand it. Before money arrives in visible form, it often exists first as possibility, timing, connection, courage, permission, skill, or attention. People think they are waiting only for cash, but sometimes what they truly need first is the removal of inner static. They need to stop shrinking in front of opportunity. They need to stop speaking like defeat is part of their identity. They need to stop making fear-based choices that keep proving the same tired story. This simple act with salt and water may look too small to matter, but small does not mean weak. The strongest daily practices are often the quiet ones. That is exactly why so many people skip them. They want something louder, bigger, more dramatic, more exciting, yet life is usually changed by what is repeated in private. A quiet bowl, a clear intention, morning light, hands on a wallet, a few true words, then one better choice, then another, then another. Over time, your relationship with money stops being only survival. It becomes stewardship. It becomes awareness. It becomes discipline. It becomes peace. And peace is not a small gift. A calm mind handles income better. A clear mind spots value faster. A steady person negotiates better, saves better, plans better, and wastes less emotional energy on fear. If you understand that, then you understand why this short morning practice can reach far beyond the few minutes it takes to do it. And trust me, the deepest changes rarely arrive with fireworks. They arrive softly, then they stay. I had to learn that lesson again later in life in a way that humbled me. There was a season when I became so busy helping other people that I slowly stopped keeping my own practice. I told myself I already understood enough. I told myself the ritual was for people still trying to find their footing. I stopped doing it regularly. Nothing crashed overnight. That is how drift works. It is quiet in the beginning. That is what makes it dangerous. But after a while I noticed more strain, thinner margins, more tension around money, and more pressure in places where there used to be calm. The shift was not dramatic enough to scare me fast, but it was real enough to wear me down. Then one morning I came back to the ritual with full humility. Bowl, salt, water, breath, light, words. Gratitude, and not just once. Repeatedly, week after week. Along with that, I tightened my habits again. I reviewed my spending. I followed through faster. I asked harder questions. I stopped pretending stress was wisdom. And yes, things improved. Not because life owed me a reward, but because I had returned to alignment, both inwardly and outwardly. That season taught me something I never forgot. Knowing is not doing. Admiring wisdom is not practicing wisdom. And hearing a ritual explained means almost nothing until your own hands enter the water. So if this speaks to you, do not only enjoy the idea of it, test it, try it with sincerity, give it rhythm, let it shape the way you begin. And if you are still listening right now, let me say this. You are exactly the kind of person who should finish what you start. Do not let this become another video you liked for 10 minutes and forgot by tomorrow. Try it. See what changes. That is where the real answer lives. Not in debate, in practice, not in doubt, in repetition. Stay with me, because this next part brings everything together in a way you will want to remember. Over the years, I have watched people from many different backgrounds use this kind of practice to create real change. A worker tired of living from one paycheck to the next began using it weekly, and alongside calmer choices and tighter habits, he finally found the courage to open a small business. A single parent carrying deep stress used the ritual as a way to regain emotional control each morning, and that control helped her make better decisions, pursue training, and slowly break a money pattern that had followed her family for years. A professional who looked successful on the outside, but secretly carried constant fear about money on the inside, used the practice to quiet that hidden panic. And once the panic softened, better decisions followed, better boundaries, better peace. The pattern was almost always the same. The people who benefited did not laugh at the simplicity. They respected it. They followed the steps. They stayed consistent. They matched the ritual with clean action. They did not wait to be rescued. They made themselves available to change. And that line matters, available to change. Because many people say they want a new financial life, but their habits, speech, and fear still serve the old one. This practice begins to close that gap. It gives the mind a new signal. It gives the body a new rhythm. It gives your day a new first message, and the first message matters. The first message tells the rest of the day what kind of story it is entering. Is this another day ruled by lack? Another day led by panic? Another day where money is treated like an enemy? Or is this a day that begins with order, intention, and quiet authority? That choice may sound small. It is not small. It is foundational. And if you have ever felt like your life is being shaped by invisible habits you never chose, then this is one way to begin choosing differently. Not perfectly, differently. That is enough to begin. That is enough to create movement. And sometimes movement is the only miracle you need in the beginning. So here is what I want to leave with you. Tomorrow morning can begin like every other morning, rushed, heavy, noisy, and filled with the same old thoughts. Or it can begin with a different signal: clean hands, salt, water, light, intention. A wallet touched with purpose instead of fear. If you do this, do it seriously. If you repeat it faithfully. And if you feel even the smallest shift, protect it. Build on it. Because sometimes a new financial life does not start with a giant opportunity. Sometimes it starts with one quiet morning when you decide that lack will not speak first anymore. Sometimes it begins when you stop waking up as if the day is already against you. Sometimes it begins when you stop touching money like it is something dirty, unstable, or impossible to keep. Sometimes it begins when you remember that your habits are speaking long before your bank account answers back. So tomorrow, before the world rushes in, create one clean moment. Hold the bowl. Feel the water. Let the light touch what you carry. Speak carefully. Ask clearly. Act honestly. Then walk into the day with eyes open. Watch what changes in your posture, in your speech, in your choices, in your courage, in your attention. That is where this practice does its deepest work. Not only in what arrives, but in who you become while waiting, while working, while receiving, while learning to keep what comes with more wisdom than before. And if part of you still doubts it, that is fine. You do not need perfect belief to begin. You only need enough honesty to try. So test it. Give it one morning, then another, and if something shifts, even slightly, do not ignore it. Follow it, strengthen it, repeat it. Because peace around money is not a fantasy. Clarity around money is not a fantasy. A steadier life is not a fantasy. Sometimes it starts in a loud way, but often it starts exactly like this, quietly, before sunrise, with salt on your hands, light on your wallet, and a new decision moving through your chest, like the first clean breath you have taken in a very long time.